Hi everyone, we're joined by Jennie Hicks here at MKM Home. It's a fantastic environment and we're going to have a great conversation all about apprenticeships and Jen's journey so far, and we hope we can give some information back that people will learn from and want to choose apprenticeships as a credible option. Firstly, it's an amazing place. What's the customer feedback?
Shock, good shock.
Okay.
So it's a bit different to all the other MKM branches. Especially for the customers that used to know this as Brook Ceramics. They come in,
yes.
So it used to be purely Brook Ceramics, just tiles, and they think, what's going on here? And we merged together MKM and Brook Ceramics and made it MKM Home. So yeah.
So roughly how many kitchen displays and bathroom displays do we have on show?
So in the original showroom, near the entrance, that's all the bathroom displays. Okay. So dozens of them, got them already, and then a few more new ones in this new extended showroom. Okay. And I'd say, a dozen more kitchen displays as well. So prior there weren't any kitchens. So
we're in Hull. What would you say that for our watchers and listeners that Hull is best known for?
Yeah, I'd say City of Culture, the Deep, the big aquarium,
yes,
Chip Spice, of course.
Chip Spice,
Hull FC, Tigers.
Yeah, that's right. So, Jen, no stranger to education. So, why did you decide to go to college and university initially?
I wanted to whittle down which creative course and kind of industry I wanted to get into, because it's very vague, got a lot of different positions and titles and careers in the creative industry. Okay. So I wanted to figure out which one I wanted to do, whether that was graphic design, illustration, fine art.
And here's a great question that I need to ask you. So when you were at school, was there a careers advisor who was giving you information about what options you had? And in particular, did anybody mention the word apprenticeships to you?
Right, so I remember one coming in one time, very vague memory of course, I didn't engage very much with it because of this. I was trying to get my head down, just figure out school, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do at that young age. But yeah, I knew of apprenticeships, but they were deemed as worse than degrees generally for me and my peers, I'd say.
Now that was a feeling that you had as a student, that it was more about a higher education at university than perhaps while you learn.
Definitely, that was the goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
What impression do you get as a young person, or did you have, about what type of roles an apprenticeship covered?
I'd say more, vocationally, you've got your joinery, bricklaying, which is fantastic, but obviously not what I wanted to go into, so I never thought of that as an option.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, I understand there's probably up to about 200 standards that somebody could look at for a future, career while they're learning first. So, what advice could you offer about where should somebody go, Jen, to find out about apprenticeship options? Where do you think somebody should go, or isn't there anywhere?
Well, I can't think of anywhere to go per se off the top of my head. I'd say, as a young student, when you're at school in sixth form, there's already a lot of things that are overwhelming you already.
Yeah.
So you might not have the time or the capacity to go elsewhere and seek that out. So I think it'd be best for an apprenticeship representative, a supplier person or something like that, to visit the school themselves and do that more.
Yeah, that's good.
Go to the student,
Yes, maybe what you're saying is maybe the industry should come together more to. So if we're trying to attract more people into merchanting and KBB, that we should perhaps all work together and create some kind of hub or information source that young people can access.
Yes, like you said, there's hundreds of different types now of apprenticeships. I don't think students are aware of this, so that would be good.
And what you're saying, Jen, maybe some manufacturers should get involved in that as well.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So your advice could be to those watching that if somebody wants to become a kitchen designer, is to embrace and grab as much education as you possibly can in the interior design sector of education. And of course, particularly the standard that you're on today.
It helps having a lot of experience in talking to people and being a people person too. I've had the odd retail job that's very helpful, having the confidence to talk to people. So you are a salesperson as well as a designer in my position. So it's good to be able to do both. You can't just hide away and do your design. So it's good.
So within your standard of your level 3, Is there an element of sales that you need to learn more about? Is that part of the curriculum?
It's more of the technicalities in the curriculum that my apprenticeship supplier go through with me.
Yes.
The things that I found most helpful is, the company hiring more designers, which were fantastic, and it's really good grabbing different aspects and techniques from different designers. You'll only take certain things from certain designers, so I found that very helpful.
Okay, so that's a more of a practical thing.
Yes.
I guess if you're in the environment here, you can take the best bits from people and add that to your own presentation, I guess.
See what suits me.
What I'm keen to find out is if someone's considering doing a fitted furniture design technician standard level 3, it's a long mouthful, what kind of elements of the standard are you expected to learn? Can you give like a flavour of the curriculum?
Yeah, so it's quite a lot of health and safety regulations and all that kind of jazz, along with lots of photo evidence of measures you've been to, and then you can show how you're implementing the health and safety when you go to a client's house and measure up and survey the area. But also the terminology you use, show your professionalism. A lot of things to tick off the list, really.
Okay, so how is that measured? So you keep a log of your activities.
My tutor does.
And then your tutor does. This is from North Lancs Training Group, I understand. And then you have a professional discussion after. Is it an 18-month course or a 12-month course?
Yeah, so what we do, we have certain milestones to hit. They do come and visit every month, I think, is the correct answer.
You do a Zoom call occasionally?
No, he actually comes into my tutor Stuart. It's nice that way because you can update them on how you're doing and they can let you know how you're doing kind of thing.
Good.
So he comes in, lets you know what you're doing, you work towards a milestone, so these small achievable milestones to hit. And then at the end of the year, there's an endpoint assessment where an assessor who isn't your tutor will shadow you through different stages of a sale.
Yeah. Is the course, is it 18 months or is it an 18 month course?
It's 18 months long, but I've been told by a couple of tutors that if you feel ready at the 12-month point, you can take that assessment.
Yeah, so you have a written paper to do, I understand, and you have a professional discussion like we're doing today, and then somebody will come in and shadow you, and then you'll get the opportunity to have different grades. Is that right, Jen? Can you get pass and merit distinction?
I think from what I know, it's just a pass.
Just a pass, is it?
From what I know, I could stand corrected, but it's just as long as you meet those bullet points, those goals, those. Everything like that. But what I do like is that it's in PowerPoint presentations, so it's in like bite-sized chunks, and it's good to sit down and just update the log.
So if you were to do some self-learning in addition to the standard, can you submit projects that could get you potentially a higher grade, maybe? Yeah,
possibly so. And I know we do have a booklet from the North Lancs Training Group where we do all the off-site work that we've done, so outside of work hours, and we write that down and the hours we've spent doing that.
You're keeping a log.
We keep a log of that, so there's lots of different options.
Right. And I guess if I was a customer having a kitchen or a bathroom coming in here today, I think I would probably want to know that the person I'm talking to is going through that professional learning. Do you think that's a strength, talking to a customer?
Yeah, because it puts them at ease, they can trust you, because sometimes with the title of apprentice, some customers might find that a little off-putting. It depends person to person, but it'd be good for them to realise that I am getting it.
And on that specific subject, on the word apprentice as a title, it's been in the trade press, social media. Is it the right title, or do you think that it may put some people off becoming an apprentice?
I always think it's more of the stigma than the actual title. Yes, some people might not, the title apprentice, might not like it. But it's more the stigma, like I said earlier, the students realising that you've got hundreds of options, it's not something to be looked down on compared to a degree. It's just meant to be tailored towards you as a person. If that suits you, then that suits you, and you get training alongside.
Okay, and then training, which is really, really important for anybody actually in business and in learning from your own perspective. What other training courses have MKM advised or put you onto that's making a difference to your day-to-day work?
So I need to know the suppliers, obviously. We work with Amiga and Symphony here, fantastic suppliers, and they've sent me off to both of their showrooms, which is really helpful. That was great. I learned about all their products, how I can do best selling them, the tips I can give people, and what makes them different as a supplier.
Sure.
I've also been on training days to learn my CAD, computer-aided design. And I had another sales day where Andrew Smith actually brought in a couple actors, went to pretend to close a sale, so lots of things like that.
That's good. So some role play there too. So it's always increasing your confidence when the customer comes in. I guess the old adage is knowledge is power. So if you understand the information, you can give a better service to the customer, can't you?
Definitely, yeah.
Fantastic, good. A big debate, Jen, is the fact that a learner can go to university and they can work 3 years, get qualified, but have like a circa £40,000 loan they've got to pay off over 40 years. Have you any friends or connections in your circles where they've done that and perhaps thought that maybe the other option of the apprenticeship could have been better?
Yeah, I think everyone does really. They know one or two people where they felt a little pressured by their parents or peers to go to university, and then didn't end up utilising that degree as best they should have. Which is why I always think, just go for what's best for you. If you want to go for something which requires a degree, then fair enough. But if you know of an apprenticeship that works for you, then go for it.
That's great advice, and I guess the benefit of this session is to raise the awareness of what's on offer with apprenticeships and the level of learning that you can obtain, but actually get paid while you're learning.
Yeah.
When you were in education, did you have the advantage of any companies that are local to your school or college or uni come in and say, actually, this is what we do, we're a local employer, and these are the options that you can have on your doorstep? Did you ever get that kind of options that was presented?
Not as such as I can remember, but there was one occasion where we had a careers fair when I was at sixth form college, and it was mainly, they had different stalls, in the hall, and lots of universities set up their own little site, their little stall,
so
and it was mainly, from what I can remember, it was universities, sign up to the military, navy, that kind of jazz, but I don't really remember that
local business. So I guess your advice is that if there are some, let's say, SMEs or larger employers locally, get involved in education and explain what's on offer in your sector. In particular, look at the apprenticeship standards that are available. And portray those to education leavers and as a credible option. I'm always keen to find out how somebody actually got their position, and MKM is a big brand locally, of course, but how did you find out about the MKM position and in particular about the apprenticeship?
Right, so I actually wasn't aware of it. I took a risky move and applied online to the designer position, not the apprentice position. Now I took the move, and then in the interview obviously realised there's a lot more that goes into this. I need the training, not fully technical. I'm not fully qualified for this. Even though I knew the interview went well, I had that gut feeling that we had that good rapport, and it went well. I got a call from my boss basically saying that this is available, the apprenticeship. It would be suited to you and better suited to us.
So what you lacked in experience, you gained in the belief that you could self-develop and you could get that experience and get paid while you're doing it.
So I wish there was a bit more public, knowledge about
information
that was going on about that.
So again, your advice would be to someone's looking to break into this industry. I think you've put both feet forward and you've asked the question yourself, haven't you? So it's go and speak to local business and ask what the options are.
You never know, you might find they're doing an apprenticeship you're not aware of.
Or even potentially ask about apprenticeships.
100%,
Okay, might jog somebody's memory. There you go. So Jen, what attracted you to work for MKM in particular?
Well, they're a vastly growing company. They're doing really well, growing very quickly. And I like how I was local to this big flagship, showroom. It's not like many other MKMs, so that was attractive. They're very friendly here, nice northern friendly company. they're growing and they seem to want to help.
So you get a good family feel when you work in here.
Yeah. Good opportunities given as well.
So again, if we're talking to people that are watching or listening, why should somebody in summary work for MKM?
Because they help you as a person. They want you to develop. It's the same with the customer. It's about what's best for them. You know, it's the same with their staff. It's what's best for you. You know, like he offered that apprenticeship to me, which I wasn't aware was taking place. But no, they care for you. It's like a big family. You know what we're doing. It's what's best for the customer.
Yeah.
On the whole.
So customer centric, but employee centric at the same
100%,
time.
Yeah. Might be a bit different to others.
Okay. This environment is vast, and playing devil's advocate, if I'm a customer coming in here, I'm thinking I want to buy, before I've come in the showroom, I want to buy a Shaker ivory kitchen, but I'm coming in here, Jen, I'm thinking, actually I don't want that. Is there too much choice?
For some it can be overwhelming, I do get that, but that's when us as designers come into play. We know how to guide them to their choice, so we wouldn't ever be biased or anything like that. Let them go with the gut, what they want, but at the same time obviously show them the options that we have. So rather, what we would do is ask the initial questions, and then based off those answers, then we'd show them what's best for them, rather than the whole showroom kind of thing.
So your advice is, again, to people watching, customer comes in, ask plenty of questions first, before you propose your solution.
Yeah, definitely, because you don't want to see yourself down the road finalising your design, finalising the range from the supplier that they want to go to, and then they bring up another point that you never asked earlier and think, oh well, we'll have to start from point zero now. You just need to get it all figured out to start with.
Okay, good. 5 years time, where do you see Jen, and what do you see yourself doing?
So I'll always be a creative person, so I always see myself doing something in that respect, in the creative industry. But I'm always an advocate for self-learning, putting yourself out there, trying new things. You should never shut yourself off to one particular job title. You know, listening to podcasts, getting yourself in there.
Good. So what, you know, in terms of what we're doing today, which is giving back information, what advice could you offer those watching about where to find information about kitchens and bathrooms and merchanting and opportunities? Anything you could potentially advise on where they can look as a reference? Yeah,
well, LinkedIn's good for that. You can get a lot of good connections on LinkedIn. You kind of, it's about the can-do attitude. You kind of have to dive head first, you know. Even if you're feeling not so confident, you kind of just have to go for it and ask questions.
You have to look for it. Nobody will come and give it to you. So when you are younger, like we said earlier, it would have been fantastic to get those apprenticeship, you know, reps to pop into the schools to let them know. But once you're older and you've got that confidence, you have to get yourself out there and do it for yourself, kind of thing. For those watching, how different is learning at, say, university, where you're going into a predominantly classroom environment and there's a routine, isn't there, that you have to adopt, to the self-learning in most cases, in most of the days you're learning, is you doing it yourself on a module, whether that be online interactive or, you know, webinars or so forth. How different is both of those options, and which is better for learning?
So this is more realistic in the regard to, you know, you're getting up at a certain time, you're facing the day as in an actual qualified designer would. You know, you're learning it in that regard. You learn how to write academically at uni. If that's something you will need from your career, then fair enough. But it's not necessarily needed for the day in, day out routine of a furniture
So you're gaining some real life experience rather than just content that's from a textbook.
100%.
You're actually doing it, aren't you?
So I remember being in my illustration class, and I remember wanting to have placements at galleries, you know, to learn, you know, in real, you know, in the place that I'd be learning in real life if I was to become an artist, a fine art artist. But that never took place. So I like that it's
practical.
It's more hands-on and practical here.
Good. If a education leaver is considering an apprenticeship in the local area, what advice can you give, Jen, about who to choose to work with?
Okay, So I'd always advise scoping out the area. You can always visit those showrooms yourself and see how they treat you as a customer. Because at the end of the day, that's going to be how they treat their colleagues and how they treat their apprentices and how they train you up and value you. So yeah, have a scope of the area, visit different showrooms, see which one you connect mostly to. If it's that kind of work environment that you like, then you probably mesh best with that company.
So again, it's do your research, which could be actually visiting a potential employer, online reviews potentially as well.
Either one, a mixture.
To get the feeling, and I guess your experience has been one of amazing amount of support, but you're suggesting is the advice is find that out first.
Yes.
We always ask this question, can you relay an amusing story that we can all learn from?
I'd say let the customer talk. So when you're learning, I can be pretty eager to let out all the information, be an information dumper as they call them. So even if someone were to come in with some unique, different, bizarre ideas for the kitchen, you have to let them go with it and see what they want. So I had, one customer came in and wanted 6 different accent colours, feature wall, feature tiles. I usually work with 2 or 3, so that, they're not fighting for attention. But we made that rainbow kitchen work. I was like, let's see what we can do.
So your advice is, if the customer's done their research, is let them speak, let them put forward their proposal, and then you can suggest perhaps alternatives, but let them speak first. It's
always what's best for them at the end of the day, isn't it? Or else they'll regret their decision, and we don't want that. So
Jen, thank you so much for today. This for me is really important actually, because I believe that you've given some great information to our watchers and listeners about what options are available, and we'd love to follow your career actually, and maybe come back and revisit and see how you've got on. So thank you ever so much, and hopefully that somebody will learn something from this conversation today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Brilliant, thank you, Jen. So thank you very much for watching today. We hope you've enjoyed it and taken away some great information and some facts. If you liked what you've seen, press a like on our LinkedIn or social media feeds. If you'd like to follow us, press the follow button, and on YouTube you can press the bell icon to get notifications of future Movers and Shakers series. So thank you very much for watching.